She lives with friends Angie, Richard and Stumpy, the punk cat, in a West Hampstead anarchist squat. Their inspiration came from seeing the Sex Pistols in 1976, but were too young then to get involved.
Sex Pistols were like a catalyst with anarchy in the UK, you know, when that came out. It's a real jar to the senses. I mean, anarchy in the UK, who'd sort of heard of any of this before, you know?
I mean, the word anarchy made us all go, oh, anarchy, let's look up in the dictionary.
I mean,
it gets us...
even before anarchy came out, I was sort of sitting at school, and I'd never heard of the Sex Pistols before. And somebody was reading a newspaper, and they were going, Christ, this group's sort of like fighting their own audience. I sat there and thought, my God, a group beats up their own audience. They've just got to have something, you know, it just must be mad.
Well, we were always different anyway. I mean, like, we dressed slightly different, more on the avant-garde disco scene, like pegs and plastic sandals before punk came out. And I saw this girl who I might think must be Susie at Charing Cross Station at really early '76, and she had a safety pin through her ear. I didn't even know what punk was, and I thought, brilliant idea, and Christ. So I rushed off home, got the safety pins in, so I was wearing safety pins before I even knew what punk was.
Though their music remains central to 1983 punks, it isn't everything. Michelle, for instance, is also about to appear in a play.
Chris has got this little theatre where he hasn't even got a stage, but he's got, like, places for seats at the top of this pub in Mile End. And he does punk plays for punks by punks. And,
It's not exactly a punk, is it?
well, I'll leave him alone. I mean, like, he tried. He's got sympathies that way. He's about 23.
Is he?
Yeah, he's only our age. And, he writes some really good stuff. I mean, he's a writer, so Time Out said he got a brilliant review in the Times, of all places, and it was really good, nitty-gritty dialogue and everything, and really perceptive and everything like that. And Time Out didn't think it was true to life enough because the punks were too articulate. I'm sorry, we weren't quite working class and yobby enough.
Not quite stupid
Not
enough,
quite stommo enough for Time Out. I mean, you know how they like to stereotype their things.
Style is its own statement, of course. Nowadays, the early raw look has given way to a more painstakingly cultivated dandyism.
A way of life it is, and your clothes and your hair and your attitudes and everything. But for a lot of people, that's the only way they do ever get to express themselves. Because it's so short, I can't really do the roots. So I'm always forever just doing the ends, and they just get more and more like glue. Have you ever over-bleached hair or done a home perm and it goes like glue, like copy decks?
But the differences between 1976 and 1983 go a lot deeper than fashion. Outraging the public or even gobbing are now as boring as a top-of-the-pops disco hit. Organised politics are out, blood and roses.
Like, we're interested in the politics of the individual, whereas the individual has the right to do whatever the individual wants, whatever the individual needs to do to make their life happy without the silly restrictions that a government feels obliged to put on people. Well, there's more than just anger. Anger's an emotion that's just been done to death over the past 5 years. There's more emotions than that. There's more scope of feeling. There has to be more than just anger. Like, yeah, you feel anger for your governments, you feel anger against them, but then you've got to also be able to experience all the other things. You know, like, anger is too much of a limiting emotion. It takes over everything. Yeah, sure, we're angry about governments, all that kind of things, but there are other emotions that need to be expressed as well, and people have got to learn to sort of express themselves more freely instead of just putting up shields, you know, that they've been conditioned to have.
In their non-violent antagonism towards established politics and determination to change themselves before tackling the world, positive punks remind me a bit of 1960s hippies, though more realistic, less mystically drug-based. The music and energy of 1976 has combined with 1967's idealism. It's a fresh angle of attack on the awfulness of 1980s Britain. Style, music, tactics, the modern punk idiom, isn't a media fad. It's, in my opinion, nothing less than a moral attitude.
Now we're sort of realising that we don't want to settle down, we don't want to change that much, and it's not a cult to us anymore. It is sort of like
It's like Mum used to say, oh, she'd go out a bit at like 16, and I'm 23 now. I mean, she's just accepting it now, just.
And if you want to compare it to 76, what the whole attitude is to keep on thinking, do anything you want to do. If you want to be a street sweeper, be a street sweeper, you know. Don't moan about things, don't moan about unemployment, don't moan about politics. You can't change it. Moaning about it's not going to change it. If you're going to get free money off the government, use your time to do whatever you want to do with it.
I just said the most important thing is to be an individual and not part of any group that you can be labelled easily, you know. Just be yourself, basically. Yeah. Just be you.
This destroy thing before, destroyed society. I think people now accept that society exists and that just by being in a band isn't going to change the world.
So punk hasn't been revived after all, but it has changed. And it's become something of a synthesis, I feel, between the sort of optimism and political ideals of the 60s underground that I remember, and all that started in 1976. Whether it keeps that momentum and makes any real changes, I think remains to be seen. Personally, I remain very optimistic, and optimism's what it's all about, really, isn't it?